Thank you so much for being here. As you can see, I am joined by not only my leadership team, but also that of our Firefighters Association. Thank you. My leadership team, along with the leadership of the association, just concluded a meeting that was held in my office, and one that I promised we would have after Mardi Gras. Based on the meeting and our discussions, we are in a much better place. One that right now we are unified on. We're making some really good progress, and we'll continue to do that. With everyone at the table and working in good faith, there's no reason that we cannot continue to make progress. Ultimately, our priorities are public safety, as I've always stated, and we're moving forward in that regard together. As it relates to moving forward, there are multiple concerns that were presented to me and that we were able to talk through and even work through some of those matters. One, as it relates to overtime requests, I've agreed to evaluate the financial request over time and retention. You know, once the city of New Orleans is able to have a clear visualization of our finances, and that's what we were able to convey, we will have a much larger conversation. But right now, it's something that I cannot commit to in good faith, knowing that we cannot visualize our full financial picture for the city of New Orleans, as well as having a couple of declarations even outstanding right now that are in place. And you know, just like me, what those are, whether that's, you know, Hard Rock, cyber attack, even as it relates to coronavirus, you know, multiple things that impact the financial position of the city of New Orleans, and I have to look at things comprehensively as it relates to the financial health of our city. Promotion is one that we also discussed, and support changing the process. We agreed to that, and we're all in alignment on what that looks like, meaning as it relates to our operators and our captains, removing them out of the CAO's memo. Detail pay is another matter that we discussed, and we're in full agreement of increasing the detail pay by $5. Back pay. Now, this is associated with the 10% raise that the city of New Orleans that we did extend to our firefighters and even city employees to that matter. We recognized that there were 29 of our firefighters that were not included. Well, they were included, however, the impact they were impacted greatly, 29. But in addition to other city employees were impacted as well. So what we're going to do relative to that is going to provide the back pay associated not only to our firefighters, but other city employees that were also impacted. So being fair and across the board, that's something that we can absolutely handle. As it relates to the pension, we have agreed to reconvene the pension working group, and you know that was put together right around 2016, working very closely with the Business Council in that regard, and we're all again aligned that we will utilize fully that working group. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over first to our superintendent to clarify anything that I may have left out, get us straight, and then we'll turn it over to the Firefighters Association's leadership. So with that, Superintendent.
I think you covered it well, Madam Mayor. We also committed to working on a collective bargaining agreement with the firefighters. What I particularly want to do, though, is thank everyone for working hard on this. Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Aaron Mishler, the president of the local union. Everyone's committed to making things a better working environment. And you know, I'll say it again, I sound like a broken record sometimes, but I'll tell you, the men and women in the New Orleans Fire Department are the hardest working in the city, and I believe we have the best team in America. And I want to make sure that they're happy doing their job, and I think it's a good start. They recognize that there are financial constraints we have to deal with, but the fact that everyone is committed to getting this resolved to help us with retention and recruitment in the department is really important. So I want to thank everyone for being a part of this and making this happen.
No, thank you so much, and I'm gonna turn it over. You wanna say a few words?
I want to thank everyone for being here. I'm sure y'all saw the contingent of our membership outside. This meeting today is going to go a long way in rectifying the issues that we brought forth. And like the mayor said, we're operating in good faith, and we're, same as them. We came together, and we're hoping that we can continue to push forward and get these things worked out in a timely manner. Recruitment and retention are our biggest issues, and that's what drove what we're doing now and what we've done in the past. And we're holding the city to their word, and we're optimistic that they're gonna keep that word, and we're gonna work together to get all of these issues worked out. As far as the things that they agreed to today, those will go a long way with helping the guys know that they're operating in good faith. The other two pieces of legislation, or the other two pieces of the issues that we brought forth that have to do with pay. We understand that the city's financial restraints, and with the cyber attack, they're not able to fully visualize where they are right now. And we did come to an agreement that we are gonna work together with the letters of intent that and fully support us in working on those.
Thank you, Aaron. And so as Aaron mentioned, that we will summarize all of this. It will be a letter of intent that is expected to be drafted right away, one that we will be able to collectively sign as we move forward to next week. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for working in good faith. I think that when we do that, we get things done, and we've demonstrated that. Not only as it relates to the agreements that we were able to make this afternoon, but even those discussions and good faith in working together that eventually led to that increase, that 10% increase, less than really a year that my administration has been in place. And so I will continue to work in that fashion. And I do what I say, and I mean what I say, but by action as well. So I thank you, and I just look forward to a continued relationship, working together. And we do have the best firefighters in the United States of America, hands down, but we have an even greater public safety team as it relates to all of us carrying our weight and making sure that our top priority for our city and for our people remains public safety. So thank you. Are we taking any questions?
Just a few. WDSU.
Yeah, quick question. You said that you're gonna summarize all of this in a letter of intent.
Yes.
Soon. In that letter of intent, will that include the time frame that they requested as far as within the year of seeing some of these things come into
Well,
fruition?
the one issue as it relates to the time frame really spoke to the overtime, the pay increase. And so we expect as a city to be in a better financial position after we submit our CAFR, right? So that's attached to our audit that goes to the state legislative auditor. And so at that time, we know that we will be working with good numbers. And so based on that, that's going to be in the latter part of the summer, getting into that third quarter really of the year. And that's just all that we can commit to at this time, because again, we have to be able to see our financial position, and that's an oath that I've taken, as mayor of the city of New Orleans.
Thank you.
WW.
This question's more for the association. I know that there was a long list of things that you all wanted to address. You went in with 4 bullet points today. Do you feel you were able to address everything that you wanted to today, or is this just a really good start?
This is a great start. Everything was addressed. We didn't come to a complete agreement on everything, but we all operating in good faith to negotiate further to get that worked out. Like Madam Mayor was just saying, we have to wait for certain things before everything can be worked out, mainly the financials for those two pieces.
All right. WGNO.
What did you get that you wanted out of those bullet points?
We got working negotiations on the pension reform with the business council getting a seat at the table and continuing to work on the reforms that they have in place right now. The detail pay, the increase in detail pay, the promise of continued negotiations for the CBA. We also have the 29 firefighters who were impacted by the not getting the full 10% raise, as well as on the back end, advocating for other city workers, which I'm glad to see that they're also gonna benefit from that. So, you know, we're all about fairness. We have the promotions. I was giving to it. We have the promotions and like I said, working with Gilbert Montano on getting those financials to see where we stand to help with the retention and our overtime issues.
And lastly, Fox 8.
So you said you feel like you have a good starting point. Is there anything that you want the public to know about where you are now? I mean, do you foresee any snags along the way?
That's what operating in good faith means. You don't go into a good faith negotiation expecting snags. You're working towards getting things done, and I know I'm a man of my word. Everyone on my board's a man of their. I have no reason to doubt that the mayor and her team is not of their word. To the public, what I would like to say is we greatly appreciate the support, outpouring of support that they've shown in looking at our issues and coming out and speaking to our issues. And we look for their continued support because it's going to be a long road, but I'm optimistic that all this will be done.
Last question, WWL.
You mentioned coronavirus as one of the economic realities of the situation moving forward. News just came out of Austin that South by Southwest has been canceled. How much did that cause a capitulation in this negotiation to get everybody back at the table and realize the realization of what was coming ahead?
Well, that did not force us to the table.
Of course not.
What forced us to the table is, one, the priority being public safety and wanting to ensure that our firefighters were listened to and creating that environment that I spoke where everyone's at the table, because I don't like the back and the forth. I like, let's deal with it. And that's what we were able to do. We will continue to monitor the impact of the coronavirus. And, you know, we had our tabletop exercise this morning. Yes, we have since learned about various things, you know, being canceled, South by Southwest, even as it relates to travel. I believe some employees, Oshner may have put out a statement, no international domestic travel. I believe even LSU, you know, pulling back our students who are out of the country. And so we'll continue to do our due diligence. Yeah. Thank you so much.